trained to find evidence, articles, trained to go into grassy areas if somebody takes and drops. We train them to pick up credit cards, guns, knives, screwdrivers, any kind of item that a person might throw into a grassy area. They're trained to track. Dogs are trained to track human scent. And, God, what else? What else am I missing there? For the basic. Yeah. Anyway, and then after we do that training, we continually train. Every Thursday we get together for about a 3-hour block where we all get together as a unit and we continually train our dogs. After we get them, I'll get to that. After we get them on the street for a while and get them used to doing the job, we'll train them in a second specialty. And that would be for narcotics or for bombs. We currently have 2 bomb dogs, and the rest of our dogs are narcotics dogs. The average lifespan for one of our dogs is give or take 6 years. Speed or agility is their advantage, and that's what we look for when we retire a dog. If we start to lose the speed or agility, both the handlers make the decision as well as the vets of when they retire. When they do retire, I get this question a lot. Usually the handler keeps the dog, has a second dog at home. If they don't, they'll give it to somebody else in the city to use. One of the things that we do every year is we have to certify our dogs with the United States Police Canine Association. Part of that certification is there's 5 different parts to it. There's an obedience part, there's an article search part, the evidence search, there's a bite series, there's a, what else? What do I get? Suspect search, and what else? And handler protection part of it. Sergeant McCree is going to do a quick demonstration of the obedience part. When we do the obedience, there's 5 judges that'll be judging, and they are judging for, or you get points for how well the dog does in the obedience. First, you can do walking. The first part of the obedience he's going to do is the walking control. Okay. What's that? The second part of the obedience is he's going to do a distance control. And dogs are trained to respond to the handler's commands by voice or by hand commands at a distance in case we're at a situation where we need to control the dog from a distance. As you see, Officer McCree threw the dog a toy, his dog a toy, midnight. That's all of our training is reward-based training, giving the dog a toy after it. When we hide drugs, we start out with hiding the drugs with a toy. The dog goes and he gets his toy. When he finds the drugs, he gets his toy. Then we take the toy away and we put the drugs out, and then when the dog finds the drugs, we throw him the toy. The sleeve and the biting you'll see as we do it here, it's the same kind of a concept. The sleeve is really just a big tug toy. And what we do is we'll start out with just using it as a regular tug toy, then we'll transition it on the arm, and then we'll teach them that way. This is going to be just a bite.
We're going to do bite.
This next demo we're going to do right here is going to be one of our bites from the USPCA certification. After the bite, he's going to have a call off where he's going to verbally call his dog off the dog, and then he's going to do a handler protection where the suspect actually starts to fight with the handler, and the dog re-engages. He's having a lot of fun right now. That's just a big toy to him. Showing the control, that he can control the dog from a distance and get him off of the bite. Now as the suspect fights with the officer, he re-engages and then he still has his control. Is that it then? That's it for the demonstration. If anybody has any questions of any one of us, just come on up and ask. What's that? You want to do 5? If anybody has any questions, I can answer them for them.
How many hours a day does he spend with that dog? Does he go home with it?
Yeah, this person asked how many hours a day do we spend with the dogs. Our dogs come home with us. We have a take-home car, and our dogs are pretty much with us whenever we're at work. And of course, at home, they're with us. When I go to my cabin in the summer, he comes up there and plays. We used to keep the dogs up at the kennel, and we do a lot of demonstrations, public demonstrations, and we really want dogs that are people-orientated. We don't want dogs that are crazy, and that's what happened when we kept them at the kennel. So we bring them home and play with the kids at home and everything. And it's really funny because when you get ready for work in the morning, I start putting on my uniform. The dogs know it. They get excited. They're right by the door, and as soon as you open the door, they run to the back door of the squad, wait to get in to go to work. So.
Now, the second question to that is, do you go with a partner, or is it just the dog or temporary, partial?
The second question is, do we have a partner with us? And the answer is no. It's us and our dog when we're working. And generally what happens is I start my shift in the morning up at our kennel, and then as soon as I go through my roll call procedure, find out my information, I get in the squad, I start driving around the city, and essentially I just drive around until one of the other officers in the city requests our canine work, whether it's looking for narcotics, looking for a bomb, or finding a suspect that's broken into a school or a house or something like that.
So you really try to keep the officer as like the alpha target?
Yes. Yeah. Any other questions?
Do you always get German Shepherds, and how old do they have to be before they start working with you?
The question is, do we always use German Shepherds, and how old are the dogs when we start using them? German Shepherds, if you look at the AKC, they list about 4 dogs as their top dogs, and German Shepherds are in that 4 for trainability, for obedience, for all the other factors, whatever that are used there. German Shepherds tend to be the dogs that we've used for a lot of years. Some departments are going to a Belgian Malinois. Belgian Malinois are, there's different theories by trainers, whoever your trainer is at the time. Belgian Shepherds are great, phenomenal dogs, but they don't quite have the stamina as a Belgian Malinois does. If you use a German Shepherd to search a pretty big school, by the time he's done, he's pretty tired. You're going to have to rest him, where the Malinois seem to just go, go, go. The other question is, how old do we get them? Roughly about 1.5 years. That's kind of like that older teenager to early 20s or whatever. And by that time, you have a pretty good idea of what kind of a dog it is. We ask the dogs to do a lot of things for us, not be afraid of gunshots, go in water, not be afraid of heights. Slippery floors can be a problem. So by that time, you have a pretty good idea of what that dog is going to be like. If you think about a litter of a dog, maybe 20% of a litter would actually pass and be able to do the job that we ask the dogs to do.
What are the other 2 dogs you mentioned, those top 4?
Golden Retrievers, I think Labrador Retrievers are the #1, Golden Retrievers are the other, and then that little Fraser dog, whatever that one, that's Jack Russell Terrier. I call it a Fraser dog, but Jack Russell Terrier, yeah.
Thanks a lot for your help.
Sure thing. Any other questions? Do we have competitions with St. Paul? Yeah, well, when we go to the USPCA canine certifications, we actually get a point scoring. The most points you can get in the USPCA is 700, and actually we just had a competition in St. Cloud, and there were 80 dogs that showed up from all over the state of Minnesota. St. Paul sent 3 or 4. We usually send 3 or 4. So we do actually compete against them at that. How did I do? Not real well. Sergeant McCree did real well. Any other questions? Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. That was the Minneapolis Canine Unit. Up next, we'll have a demonstration, a show and tell from the Mounted Patrol, the Minneapolis Mounted Patrol, right now.